Welcome to another video of Introduction to Networking module. My name is Sanjeev. Currently, I am working as a software engineer at Microsoft as well as an educator at ReLevel. In this video, we are going to discuss about what is network topology. Then we will discuss about different kinds of network topologies in detail. We will see the use cases, advantages and disadvantages of different type of network topologies. So let's start without any delay with the network topologies. So what is network topology? Actually, the arrangement of a network that comprises nodes and connecting lines via sender and receiver is referred to as a network topology. You can also define it as the schematic description of a network arrangement connecting various nodes, that is your sender and receiver, through lines of connection or through connecting lines, right? So let's just start with our first network topology, that is bus topology. So what is bus topology? It is a network type in which every computer and network device is connected to a single cable. It transmits the data from one end to another in single direction. No bidirectional feature is there in bus topology. It is a multi-point connection and a non-robust topology because if the backbone fails, the topology crashes. So here you can see a main line is going at the top and there are multiple nodes connected to it. So it makes this particular topology as a multi-point topology. It is non-robust just because if that particular main line fails, then the whole topology would crash. One more thing to notice here is that direction of your data flow is only in one direction. So it is a unidirectional topology. You can't flow the data in both the directions here, from sender to receiver as well as from receiver to sender. So data would always flow from sender to receivers only, right? Now let's see what are the use cases, advantages and disadvantages of this particular topology. So here you can see the features that it can transmit the data in only one direction and every device is connected to a single cable that we also call as the backbone cable of your bus topology, right? Now if we will talk about the advantages of bus topologies. So it is cost effective just because there is only one backbone. You don't have to do anything to make it robust. Another thing is that cable required is least compared to other topologies. So in other topologies there would be multiple cable required and here you have only one main backbone cable and then for every device there would be another cable that would be attaching the device with the main cable. Then it is used in small networks. It is easy to understand and easy to explain just by joining two cables together, right? So here if n devices are connected to each other in a bus topology, then the number of cable required to connect them is only one, which is known as your backbone cable, and n drop lines are required. So the cost of cable is less than any other topologies, but it is used to build only small networks just because of this reason. Now, what are the disadvantages of bus topology? So it is common that if your main cable would fail, the whole system will crash down. If the network traffic is heavy, it would increase collisions in the network. To avoid this, various protocols are used like MAC layer known as Pure Aloha, Slotted Aloha, CSMA or CD, etc. Right? So basically you can say if your traffic would increases, it would increase the collision also and which would decrease the performance of the network ultimately. Here in this particular topology, security is also very less. So this operates on a very low security as it is connected by cable. So cable also has a limited length and last disadvantage is that it is slower than ring topology. Okay. So these are pretty much about advantages and disadvantages of bus topology. I hope this is clear to you. Now let's move to the next topology, that is ring topology. So here as you can see on your slide that in this topology it is forming a ring connecting devices. So as you can see on screen in this topology it is forming a ring of connecting devices which is with its exactly two neighboring devices, right? So the reason to call it as the ring topology because it is forming a ring as each computer is connected to another computer with the last one connected to the first. So exactly two neighbors are there for each device. So the number of repeaters are used for ring topology with a number of nodes, because if someone wants to send some data to the last node in the ring topology with 100 nodes, then the data will pass through the other 99 nodes to reach to the 100 node. Hence, to prevent data loss, repeaters are used in the network. Here in this topology also, your transmission is unidirectional, but it can be made bidirectional by having two connections between each network node, which we call as dual ring topology. Okay. So here we have some of the features of ring topology. As it is mentioned that you would be having a number of repeaters used in ring topology, just because if you want to send the data just to prevent your data loss. Another thing is that transmission would be unidirectional, and if you want to make it bidirectional, you would need two connections between each network node, and it would be called as dual ring topology then. In dual ring topology, two ring networks are formed and the data flow in opposite direction in them. Also, if one ring fails, the another ring acts as a backup to keep the network up. And here data is transferred in a sequential manner, that is bit by bit. Data transmitted has to pass through each node of the network till the destination node. So for example, here if you would be starting, let's say from this particular PC, and you want to send data to this PC at number 4. So firstly your data would be passed to number 2 PC, then to 3, and then it would reach to number 4 PC, right? So data would be sent from source, and to reach to the destination it have to traverse to each PC that is there in between. Okay. Now if we will talk about what all the operations that take place in a ring topology. So one station is known as a monitor station, which takes all the responsibility to perform all the operations in this particular topology. To transmit the data, the station has to hold the token after the transmission is done, when the token is to be released to the other stations to use. When no station is transmitting the data, then the token will circulate in the ring. There are two types of token release techniques. Early token release releases the token just after transmitting the data, and there is delay token release, which releases the token after the acknowledgement is received from the receiver, right? So this is the way to send and receive the data in this particular topology. Now let's see its advantages and disadvantages. So if we will talk about the advantages of ring topology, transmitting network is not affected by high traffic or by adding more nodes, as only the nodes having tokens can transmit data. Another thing is that it is cheap to install and expand. One more advantage of it is the possibility of collision is minimum in this type of topology. Now let's see the disadvantages of this topology. So troubleshooting is difficult in ring topology. Adding or deleting the computer disturbs the network activity, and failure of one computer disturbs the whole network. One more disadvantage is that it is not that secure. So here also there is less security in this particular topology. So I hope ring topology is clear to you, that how the data is being traversed and what can be the advantages as well as disadvantages of this network topology. Now let's move forward to your next topology, that is star topology. So here in this topology, all the computers are connected to a single hub through a cable. This hub is the central node and all the other nodes are connected to this central node. The hub can be passive in nature, that is not an intelligent hub such as broadcasting devices. At the same time, hub can be the intelligent, which is known as the active hub. So actually active hubs have repeaters in them, so that would prevent your data loss. Now let's move forward and see the features of this particular topology. So every node has its own dedicated connection to the hub. Hub can act as a repeater for data flow if it is an active hub, and it can be used with twisted pair, optical fiber or coaxial cable, right? So here you can use any kind of cable that is suitable for you. If you will see the advantages of this particular topology, so performance is faster with few nodes and low network traffic. So if there are less number of nodes and low network traffic, the performance of this particular topology would be better. Hub can be upgraded easily here because you just have to upgrade one hub and connect all the devices again to that newer hub which were earlier connected to your older hub. It would be easy to troubleshoot as all the devices are directly not connected to each other but they are connected through a hub. It is easy to set up and modify. You don't have to modify all the other nodes just to modify only one node, as all the nodes are connected separately to the hub. Only that node is affected which has failed. Rest of the nodes can work smoothly here as all the nodes are not dependent upon each other. That's why if one node is affected which would be failing, rest of the nodes can still work smoothly and it won't be affecting the other's performance. Here if n devices are connected to each other in the star topology, then the number of cables required would be n. So it is very easy to set up. If you are adding a new node, you just have to add a new cable for it, which would be connecting the new node to the hub. And here, as each device would require one port to be connected to the hub, therefore, hub would require total n number of ports. Now let's see the disadvantages of this topology. So cost of installation is high, as for every new node, you would require a new cable, as well as there you need a hub to control everything. It is expensive to use. If the hub fails, then the whole network would be stopped there because all the nodes are dependent upon only one hub. Here the performance is based upon the hub, that it depends upon its capacity. If you have a better hub, then the performance would be better. But if your hub is not that good, then your performance can degrade. So these are the disadvantages of star topology. I hope this does make sense to you. Let's move to next type of topology, which is mesh topology. So in mesh topology, every device is connected to the another device via a particular channel. So here in mesh topology, there can be two techniques to transmit the data. It is a point-to-point connection to the other nodes or devices. All the network nodes are connected to each other. So that's why mesh technology has n into n minus 1 divided by 2 physical channels to link all the devices. So if total n devices are there, then one device would be connected to the rest of n minus 1 devices. And in that way, all the devices would have a direct connection with all the other remaining devices. So in that way, for every device, it holds true that it would be connected to the rest of n minus 1 devices. Now here we have two techniques, routing and folding, for transmit the data over the mesh topology. So let's start with routing. In routing, the nodes have a routing logic as per the network requirements, like routing logic to direct the data to reach the destination using the shortest distance, or routing logic which has information about the broken links so it can avoid those nodes. We can even have routing logic to reconfigure the failed nodes. Here, another and most common way of mesh topology is flooding. In flooding, the same data is transmitted to all over the network nodes, hence no routing logic is required. The network is robust and it's very unlikely to lose the data, but it leads to unwanted load over the network. So here if you want to send data A from, let's say, first device, then that data would be sent to all the other three devices. So even if any of those three devices fail, still we would be having that data in the other two devices. So which makes it robust. Now let's move forward and let's see the types of it. So there is this partial mesh topology. In this topology, the sum of systems are connected in the same fashion as mesh topology, but some devices are only connected to 2 or 3 devices. So that means all the devices are not connected to all other devices. Some of the devices would be connected as a normal mesh topology, like to other remaining n-1 devices, but some devices would be there which don't require to connect to the all other devices, but they would be connected to just 2 or 3 main devices. Then another type is full mesh topology, where each and every node or devices would be connected to each other. So what are the features of this topology? It is fully connected, it is robust, and it is not flexible, because it won't be easy to add a new node or to remove a node, just because on adding a new node, we have to connect it with the other n minus 1 nodes, and to remove a node, we have to remove its connection with all other n minus 1 nodes, right? Now let's talk about its advantages and disadvantages. So its best advantage is that it is robust. Even if any of the nodes fails, still we can be dependent upon rest of the n minus 1 nodes. Here each connection can carry its own load. Here fault can be diagnosed easily because all the nodes are connected with each other. It provides you security as well as privacy. Here the data is reliable because data is transferred among the devices through dedicated channels or links. It doesn't traverse through all the other nodes to reach to the destination nodes. We can directly send the data from source node to destination node. So now what are the disadvantages of this topology? So first disadvantage is installation and configuration is difficult just because you have to connect every device with the all remaining devices. Here cabling cost would be higher just because a high bulk of wiring is required, so hence it is suitable for less number of devices. Another disadvantage would be cost of maintaining it would be very high as you have to maintain all n into n minus 1 divided by 2 connections here. So it is basically that you have to maintain n square kind of connections. So it's basically you have to maintain almost n square connections here. So that would be difficult. I hope this is clear to you that what mesh topology is. Now let's move forward to your next kind of topology, that is tree topology. So tree topology is just another type of star topology. So this particular topology has the hierarchical flow of data. As you can see in the diagram, from top computer or from top node, data is flowing to two devices, and then those two devices are flowing that data to their child devices, or you can say child nodes. So here we are following a hierarchy. So this is just like a tree where there is a root node and all the devices are connected in the form of a hierarchy. That's why we also call it as hierarchical topology, and it should at least have 3 levels to the hierarchy to maintain this topology. So now moving forward, ideally if workstations are located in group, so here in this, the various secondary hubs are connected to the central hub which contains the repeater. In this data flow from top to bottom, that is from your central hub or root to secondary, and then to the devices which are at the third level. Or your data can flow from bottom to top, that is devices at the secondary hub, that is from third level devices to the secondary hub, and then from secondary hub to the central hub. So it is a multi-point connection and has a non-robust topology, because if its backbone fails, that is your central hub or root, then whole topology would be crashed. Now moving forward, let's see its features. So it is ideal if workstations are located in the groups and it is used as a wide area network, right? Now what are the advantages of tree topology? So extension of bus and star topologies. So now what are the advantages of tree topology? It is the extension of bus and star topology. Here the expansion of nodes is possible and easy. You just have to attach one node and add it into the hierarchy using one cable. As here one node is attached to only one another node, so it would be easy to maintain. Here error detection can also be done easily. Now let's see what are the disadvantages. So disadvantage is that if your central hub would fail or your root would fail, the entire system would fail. And second is the cost is high as there are a lot of cables used, and if more and more nodes are getting added into the hierarchy, then it would become very difficult to maintain it. So this is pretty much about the disadvantages of tree topology. Now let's move to your next kind of topology, that is hybrid topology. So it is two different types of topologies which is a mixture of two or more topologies. For example, if in an office in one department ring topology is used and in another department star topology is used. Connecting these topologies would result in hybrid topology, which is basically ring topology and star topology. What are the features of it? So it is the combination of two or more topologies. It would inherit the advantages as well as disadvantages of all the topologies that are included. Then what would be the advantages of it? So it is reliable as error detection and troubleshooting would be easy. It would be effective, scalable as the size can be increased easily. You can add more number of topologies or the nodes in the existing topology. It would be flexible. Then what are disadvantages of it? So disadvantage is very easy. It would obviously be costly as you are connecting and maintaining two or more topologies here as the hybrid one, and it would definitely be having a complex design to maintain more than one topologies together. So this was pretty much about your different types of topologies. I hope this is clear to you that what different topologies we have, what are their advantages and disadvantages. Now let's meet in the next video and learn about some more new aspects of networking. So till then, bye bye, take care, thank you.